What's up, guys? Steven here from Team Comic Con, and we have a really, really cool guest. Everybody's seen him. You've seen him around. You've seen him drop in the beats. He's always behind the decks. He's the guy with the funky suits, the guy that looks all chill, but he's actually a funky guy behind the scenes. DJ Elliot himself. DJ, how you doing?
What's happening, man?
All good, man. All good. Weird, interesting. As I've been saying before, like very interesting times. I think the world is pretty much at a standstill. But how's things on your side?
That's pretty quiet. We've been down since I went up and did C2E2 in Chicago, and then came home, and pretty much right after that, like everything stopped. So we're just kind of in a holding pattern, waiting to see. You know, the next scheduled event for me is SuperCon in July. So I've got some time. I've got some time off.
so all right. So you say you have some time off, right? So what are you doing in this? What are you doing in this time?
Oh man, I've been working on music. I've got one of my hobbies is obviously I've been, I don't know, people probably don't know, I build movie cars. So I've been working on this this A-Team van for the last couple weeks. So for those of you that don't know, the A-Team was a very popular television show back in the 80s with Mr. T with the mohawk, and he said he pitied the fool, but not judging anybody, just for those of you that don't know.
Because you're not going to give away too much.
They made a really bad movie in the 2000s. Yeah, it was weird.
So I know we can catch that on your socials as well. So I think you've been posting quite a bit about your hobbies as well on your Facebook account.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much everybody at home right now. What are you doing? I mean, you can only watch so much Netflix. I'm pretty sure I've watched everything at this point.
Yeah, I think I even got a reminder from Netflix to be like, you can rewatch what you previously watched. So I was like, okay, that's.
You're like, no, I can't. I have to get to the end of Netflix.
If there is an end. So DJ, tell us a bit more about yourself, maybe. Give us a bit of a scope about you, how you got into this. Why specifically this genre? Why this culture? What do you like about this culture?
So I was a DJ at the theme parks here in Orlando since the early 2000s. I think like 2004 was when I started at the theme parks, and I've been a DJ since I graduated from high school. So like 95, 96 is when I started DJing. And there's always been an oversaturation of DJs. Like there's always a bunch of DJs in all of these genres. And I started going to Comic-Cons, and every show had a DJ, and usually they were really bad. And I was just like, and so I would talk to promoters, and I talked to people involved with the Comic-Cons, and I'd always be like, hey, like, where are you finding their DJ? And they'd be like, oh, like, it's one of my friends. He lives down the street. And, or I'd talk to another one, and they'd be like, oh, one of our guys that's in finance, like, he's a part-time DJ, so we use him. And I was like, so none of y'all are using like professional DJs. You're just hiring a friend or somebody that So, well, let me come in. Even with you guys, it was like, let me come down and show you what I can do. So in my whole life, I've always followed the philosophy of, when you're in business, find a hole. Find somewhere where nobody is, or find something where there are people there, but they may not necessarily be great, and go in and dominate that field. And it just was really helpful to me that I already was a nerd. I already kind of felt like I didn't belong. And so it just felt really great and really comfortable to get out there in this group of people that it's a bunch of misfits that just want to belong to something. So.
Yeah. I think that's important. What you said is the fact that like it's an all-inclusive atmosphere as well. And I think a lot of people seem to fit out and then come to a convention like this and then fit in the same sense.
Well, look, I always enjoyed going to sporting events like
Yeah.
basketball games and baseball games and football games, and I would just look around at like some of these, crazy fans with, wearing their jerseys and all that stuff, and I just never understood what, I enjoyed sports. I just wasn't into it, and so I'd look at these people and be like, I just don't get it. And then I
Yeah.
went to my first Comic-Con, and I was that fan,
Yeah.
and I got it. I was like, oh, this is it. This is why people do this.
Yeah.
I just don't like sports. I like pop culture and comics and movies, and here are people just like me. So, I can have a conversation with anybody and they
Yeah.
get it. Because, I would watch
Mm.
people do that at the ballparks. Like, oh man, check out number, 46, Paul Stevens over there. He's the best player. And they'd go on and I'd be like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But like you and I could sit down and be like, oh man, let's talk about, the Harley Quinn movie that just came out. And we'd have this serious discussion, and someone from sports would look at us and be like, what are you guys talking about? You mean that movie with Margot Robbie? Yeah. She's cool. Like, so it's just, everyone's fandom is different, and I found mine. And I think the reason I do so well in this group is because I'm genuine, because I'm just there. I'm just as excited. Someone explained to me, because I kind of got my start doing the Star Wars celebrations. That was my start into this field.
Yeah.
And it was probably after the second or third one that I started making some friends that I talked to fairly frequently. And their comment was, you're the accessible gatekeeper. You're the person that we can walk up to and have a conversation with, and you're just as excited as we are. And I'm like, because I am.
Yeah.
And for those first couple of years, I wasn't getting paid to do it. So don't be afraid to do things for free, people.
Yeah. I think that's one important point to mention, is that you mustn't do it. If it's and I think obviously, like, we live in such a society that is so driven, and your passion or your goal is determined by how much you make from it as well.
No, I've been in this space now just about 10 years.
Yeah.
I think the first Star Wars celebration was the Celebration 5 that we did was 2010. So I've been doing this now for 10 years. I will admit, I'm a little scared right now because I've invested in these huge conventions, and now I'm like, so what's gonna happen now? Like, but I'm pretty sure that, once we find a cure, once we find a vaccine, that everything's going to be business as usual. Because that's really the fear, is people are getting sick and they just don't know how to make them better. So
almost that fear of the unknown. But all right. So obviously we now know that you're a diehard geek. We know you're passionate about this industry, right? We know you love music. But one question I want to pose to you is, right, outside of pop culture, what have you found yourself doing over the course of the last month, for example? What have you found yourself doing that you'd never have thought you'd be doing in these situations?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's funny because because I like you guys, and I'll be truthful with everybody. I fought off a pretty massive depression for the first couple weeks. I mean, because for me, I also run a DJ business here in Florida, and I have about 20 other DJs that work for me. And, as things started to happen, like gigs got canceled, and, I would have to tell these people that work for me, hey, look, like I got nothing. And, watching the money in your bank account go out and nothing come back in, and just having to be the strong person, and I'm married, and my wife works for the Disney company. So she's looking at, getting furloughed and all of that stuff. So I had to be this big, strong person at home because I'm trying to hold it all together. And I wasn't taking care of myself. So a couple of my friends that I'm really close with, that I talk to every day, turned me on to some podcasts that I've been listening to. So just trying to feel better about everything, to know that it's okay to freak out and be sad. Like you said, the scary thing for everybody is just the unknown. It's just not knowing what's next? We have events that have been rescheduled for July, but is July too early? Is August too early? How long are we going to sit in this limbo area where everybody's like, I just want to know, like, everybody does fine if you know a date.
Yeah, like, that's true. That's so true. All right.
And then, what's everything going to look like when we come back? But no, I don't try lots of, the actual question, I don't try lots of new things. I've just kind of reverted back to old things. Like I finally started working on music again.
Yeah.
And then just working on those cars, which is a lot of manual labor, which is why I'm sunburned. I've been outside. I mean, you should be able to feel the heat radiating off through this computer screen. This is what happens when you are white. You turn red. So
it's just a subtle undertone. You only notice a subtle undertone.
I know. So when everybody finally sees me, they can come up and be like, "Wow, so you're not bright red, all the time matching my African blanket back there." So.
It's so awesome. Thank you. First of all, thank you for being so genuine with us. And I think also, like, it's important to admit that. And I think a lot of people are just chilling and not accepting the fact that are obviously in this current situation, right? But for me, DJ, how did you experience? So you've been to South Africa 2 times now, right? So you've obviously been here twice. 2018, 2019, and then you're obviously scheduled to come this year as well. So what is your experience of this place? Or what did you find that was different?
So you can't tell anybody else this.
Okay.
Like, for real. I'm gonna look around, make sure.
Yeah, I promise.
So my experience at the first Comic-Con Africa was my favorite Comic-Con experience that I've ever had.
Oh wow.
I would never tell you because you're involved in the organization, and I don't want to give you that leg up to know. I would pay to go to this Comic-Con.
That's awesome to hear.
I probably shouldn't have said that to the guy that books my flights and pays me while I'm there. Like, oh no, we've got him. No, like, it was really cool. That first year I was out in that food court area right there by the front gates, and I remember all of us kind of standing there like, maybe people are going to come to this, maybe people aren't going to come, we have no idea what this is going to be. And as soon as those gates opened, like, everyone came in, and not only did they come in, they came in cosplaying, they came in dressed in something, just talking to everybody, like South Africa definitely understood what this was. And hey, we don't know what's going to happen in the building, but we're around a bunch of people that are like-minded, and we're going to have a kick-ass time. And that's, I mean, we had a great time in that outdoor area. We just played music, and this girl proposed to me. So technically, if I wasn't already married, I could be married to somebody from South Africa living in South Africa.
As easy as that, right? As easy as that.
I mean, it was just such a great time. Like, everybody came to party. But I just remember, because I think we opened like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And like, the bars were right behind me, and like, as soon as those gates opened, like, people went to those bars, and I said, this is going to be a very long day. But it was great,
very passionate. We're definitely very passionate about what we do and how we do it. So
and it was
a sphere. We're very passionate about it.
Well, and the other great thing that the people that come to this event don't know is your team is one of the best teams that I've worked with in this industry, because you all get it. Like, you have great leadership, you have wonderful volunteers, like, you've got it figured out. And it's going to be really fun to watch what this is, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, because there's not really a ton of competition in your market, and it's just, you get it. I mean, I remember looking at your numbers, and I was like, man, like, we struggle for numbers like that here in the States, and you guys just made it look easy. And now the fact that I think in Johannesburg you're moving to another bigger venue again.
Not just yet. We don't
okay.
do the venue.
Well, I mean, that first year we made that step to the new play, and it
Yeah.
was great. And then just figuring out, what the people at home don't know is I see the Comic-Con Africa team at other Read Pop shows here in the United States, like learning, walking around, meeting, guests. I do my best with every celebrity that I run into. I'm like, hey, you should come to Comic-Con Africa.
Yeah.
Here's the person you need to email. But it's so, even for me, the most difficult part of South Africa is I'm up here and you guys are like way around the back down there. So it's like a day and a half to get there. But it's so worth it, and it's my favorite show. And I was so excited to come to Cape Town because when I was I remember the only comment I ever heard that first year is people would ask me, how come this show isn't in Cape Town?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't even know where Cape Town is. I not a clue.
Yeah.
And so I was really excited to see a new place in South Africa, and I'll be there.
Well, we look forward to having you and hosting you next year. Obviously, we just pushed it out just a little bit.
Hey man, I'm gonna keep coming until you tell me you're sick of me. So,
and I don't think we'll ever get to that point. I think the African fans have such a love affair with you, and what I think everybody enjoys is that we connect with what you bring to the show because you're so passionate about what you do, Elliot. And I think we're all grateful to have you. We love having you at the event, and just keep bringing what you bring, man. And I'm sure now that you've got some more time to drop and mix some new beats, we're really excited to see what next you can bring, and obviously what more and how much you can up your game in this time as well.
Well, and what I want to see is, so you saw me in kind of a loungy atmosphere in the food court, and then we've taken over the main stage now, and we kind of have figured out what we're doing there, and I got to work with some really great people on the stage last year, so I think we've got that locked down. But here's your challenge for the next, and I know it may not happen this year, but maybe next year. You need to have that fan party somewhere, and then I can show you how the real DJing looks. So you got to do that after party, fan party somewhere. We got to figure out how we're gonna do that. So I'll since I'm and the good news is I'm already there, so it's not going to cost you any extra. It just means instead of driving me back to the hotel at 5 o'clock, you can we'll go somewhere else. So
I think we're all down for that. Thank you for the challenge. Definitely accept that challenge.
Well, that was the moment. So my moment at Comic-Con happened at Star Wars Celebration when I realized this is where I'm supposed to be. We did a fan party at Star Wars Celebration, and I was a nerd in high school. I didn't go to high school dances. I didn't go to high school parties. I just didn't feel like I fit in. It just wasn't, and I really felt like I kind of missed out on some stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm DJing this party, and legit, it is all of the boys on one side of the room, all of the girls on one side of the room, and like a couple dudes with like lightsabers, like fighting in the center of the floor. And I'm playing all this great music, and I was just like, this is stupid. So I stopped the music, and I got on the microphone, and I was like, yo, look around. This is not a middle school dance. Like, everyone's the same here. Like, we're all the same. So tonight is the one night that y'all can just party and have a great time. And as soon as that group had permission, we had a killer party. And just ever since then, I think it's one of the things that, a lot of the fans look forward to is just like, let's get together. It's that, that sports analogy I talked about earlier. Like now we can all come together and have a party, because if I dance stupid, it doesn't matter. Everybody's going to dance stupid because, especially in South Africa, because they've been drinking since 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, DJ, they may not even know they're at a dance.
Well, DJ Elliot, thank you so much for sharing this with us. Thank you so much for your time. I know you had to wake up early to join us, but
I don't even know. I know the sun is out. Oh, it's 9 o'clock a.m. here. So there we go.
Even more reason to sleep in. But awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. And then obviously we'll be seeing you in the future at events wearing the awesome stuff you wear.
Yeah, man.
Uh,
I know I got Ninja Turtles today, so there you go.
Awesome.
No,
Thank you so much,
hey,
DJ.
look, so all y'all did is you switched my flight from Cape Town to Johannesburg, so
Yeah,
I'm coming.
you're still gonna be there, right?
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm excited. So make sure
Awesome.
y'all come up and say hello. So that's my
Yeah,
favorite part is meeting everybody. So
awesome. Thank you so much, DJ Elliot. And
you're welcome, man.
cheers.